going 247 like every day, and I see they put out the 30 under 30, not 34-30, and you're on the list. When you learned about that, how was your first reaction? How'd you feel?
Yeah, actually we were in a staff meeting and my phone kept buzzing and I was wondering what was going on, and being in the recruiting world itself, things always occur. And so as I was checking my phone out, I got a notification notifying me that I was 30 under 30, and it was a huge blessing. I was shocked and stunned, honestly. Did not know that was coming this year at all, but huge blessing to be a part of that list. But as cool as that is, honestly, I think preparing my staff and being a part of a program like LSU to hopefully win a national championship is the ultimate goal.
How old are you?
25.
Good for you. I mean, you still got plenty of years to go. Probably make it on that list 4 more times. What's kind of your day-to-day like in this job?
Every day's different, you know. It's very interesting, from having meetings with coaches about strategy with our recruits and prospects to having meetings across campus and figuring out how we can enhance our experience on campus, not just for football but for other sports and the students as well here at LSU, to coming up with a creative thought for our experience on campus with prospects, whether that's coming up with ideas to have a dinner on the 50-yard line in Tiger Stadium, to our photo shoots, meet with our creative team and the staff. And you know, we have a great staff that's able to think creatively and build rapport with each other so we can best execute each assignment and task. To meet with Coach Kelly and figuring out different plans and understanding his message, which is so important, so that way we can identify and recruit the right talent here. It's for sure traits over talent here at LSU. You know, there's so many elite, talented prospects across the country and across the board, but at the end of the day, we want the right ones. We want the ones who understand our traits and understand the mental aspect of the everyday development program that we have here established by Coach and the staff. So it's hard to necessarily explain what it looks like day to day, because it can be me being outside the office, running around campus or within the community, to staying inside and meeting with coaches and staff all day to best execute and put us in the right position from a strategy standpoint with all of our recruits on the board, from 200 prospects all the way to 25.
Sounds like a lot of work. Fun work. Will talked about this a lot too, just the emphasis on keeping guys in the state. You know, you're from the state, so what does it mean to you to put the emphasis on in-state recruiting?
Yeah, you know, being from here, being from West Monroe, Louisiana, I've always understood what it means to be from Louisiana, right? But also being here at LSU, it means so much more to be able to make sure we keep people home. And that's the biggest, and the ultimate goal is, if we have the talent here, which we do, we always have, and that's why so many schools outside the state want to come here. Our job is to build a bridge, build a fence and make sure that nobody takes our guys, and that's the ultimate goal. And we talk about it every day. We communicate and have strategy and plans for that as well, to make sure the Justin Jeffersons of the world, the Jamar Chases, the Andrew Whitworths, they come and play here, and they can set their foundation not just for 4 years but forever, and build off of that platform that LSU provides for their businesses, for their families, and also for the ones to come behind them.
And I kind of noticed you guys directly enforce that kind of in-state approach to your branding and strategy, and you kind of talked about that a little bit, the graphics you make, you know, the things you put on social media, you know, stay home, the path, things like that. That's all intentional?
Yes. The biggest thing is being intentional, right? Being genuine. Getting to know somebody is very important, but understanding why is most important. Why we do what we do is for us to be successful and have a developmental program, but understanding why somebody and their path and their process for what they want to do in life is important. So that way we can make sure with our resources that we have on campus, we can provide the best opportunity for them within their 3 to 4 years on campus.
As a former player yourself, how does that help you with this job?
It does help a lot, honestly. Being recruited at one point in high school to being part of a locker room in college, as well as getting the opportunity to coach for a year, has definitely helped me understand where our players, current and recruits, come from, as well as their parents. Having conversations with my mom and dad and my sister as well, talking about the recruiting process and what worked and what didn't work. And to be honest with you, everything that worked was the intentional piece and being genuine, and as easy as saying hello when you're walking by, to as big as on an official visit, offering a phenomenal meal. And those are the things that we felt like were most important. And so I try to just make sure we do that every day, is be genuine as possible to all of our people.
How do you kind of put, maybe it's that, but how do you put your own unique spin on how you recruit?
That's it right there, the genuine piece, honestly. You know, every conversation is different because everybody's different, right? And my job is to make sure I can have intimate conversations with people and relationships and understand them. And so if it's a prospect or a current player, and I don't just know the recruit themselves, I know the mom and dad, the grandfather, the girlfriend, you know, what they like, their dislikes, because it's important to make sure we cater everything to them and their liking, so they understand that we do care. And it's all about the small details. You can have the biggest buildings and the nicest looks, but inside of it, what's around it, and who's in those buildings, and the small intentional gifts, for me, have always been important, right? Like if I need certain essentials on a day-to-day basis that my parents could provide for me at one day, I always understood the appreciation that I need to show to them, because that helped me be successful. Whether it's having clothes on my back or having a place to lay my head and even food every day, those are things that made me be appreciative of my family. And so I try to make sure we do the same thing for our prospects by just understanding them, and if any way we can provide them any small details from a compliance standpoint, we will definitely do so.
Now, Louisiana, LSU is the king in the state, obviously. How is LSU right now on the national landscape? What would you say?
The brand's big. To be honest with you, I think it has always been big. LSU, it's three letters, but you know, you go in the airport and you get a Go Tigers. We left Nashville from a symposium, and our staffs were getting on the plane, and the lady at the front desk goes on the intercom and says, "I see we have some LSU Tigers here," and people start, clapping and screaming, and the brand itself is so impactful and powerful, and the platform that it provides for people is one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country, and it's all about how you utilize that and appreciate that piece, from women's basketball to baseball, to our track, golf, gymnastics. I mean, I can go on and on about the success we have from an athletic standpoint, but also from an academic standpoint. It's definitely trending the right way. There's a big mixture of students on campus from different areas, different backgrounds, from a minority perspective. And so you get a little bit of everything here at LSU, which is what you also get in Louisiana in general, is a mixture of everybody and different cultures, which provides you the opportunity to be around and feel and see different things that you've probably never seen before, which makes LSU so unique.
Coach O hired you here, right?
Yes, sir.
2 years ago. Do you notice any differences in the program, maybe the vision, the message between when he ran things and now Coach Kelly?
I learned so much under Coach O from a recruiting standpoint. He's one of the best to do so, has always been, and his track shows that, right? Was able to go 15-0 and win a national championship. Being from Louisiana, that means more than anybody. I know it has to, right? And for Coach Kelly, learning from a CEO standpoint, he's a very CEO type of coach, and allows us to do our jobs, and as well as the current players, and understanding that consistent messaging is important and being consistent in that every day. And so whether that's being attention to detail and having great vision, having the grit and the right mindset every day coming in is very important. So Coach Kelly has done more than enough already in the last year and a half that I've had the opportunity to be around him to just educate me and grow me, not just as a worker, but as a young man and as a leader, and potentially wherever my future goes. I know that I've been able to learn a lot from Coach Kelly, and I've been in great hands.
Take me back to that time period when, Coach O out, Coach Kelly comes in. And often what you'll see is the new coach kind of brings in his own staff, right? But he decides to keep you and Will. So what was it like during that time period where you didn't know, and what did you do to earn your keep?
Yeah, that was the first time I've been through a process like that before, having transition with a new coaching staff. And Coach Kelly, like he always is, he's very intentional in his thoughts and his doings. Honestly, I did not know I was going to be retained. I was just working like every day. That's the goal, and what I've been growing up on is, if you have an opportunity, just go about your day and make sure you make the most of it. And so that's what I tried my best to do every single day, and be myself and not change. And it was a huge blessing to be retained here, especially being from here, from Louisiana, and being part of a great program like this.
Let's talk about the transfer portal a little bit, because you guys not only put the emphasis on in-state high school recruits, but bringing guys back to the state that maybe started their career elsewhere. Is that something you specifically look for, like guys that are from Louisiana that are in the portal that are high-level players?
Yeah, as people get into the portal, I think it's important to identify their background and reasons why. Why did they enter the portal? What's the makeup of that? And then where they're from is important. Not because we will or won't take them because of that, but understanding, are they trying to get closer to home? Are they trying to be around their family? What's the insight and information that we can gather? But definitely, if we have the opportunity to bring somebody back home, that's the plan, and hopefully moving forward, we don't have to bring people home. We can just keep them home coming out of high school and come straight to LSU.
I want to zero in on Lance Herdt, if you don't mind, because he's a big-time guy from the state, from your area, so I imagine you had a lot to do with that recruitment. So what was kind of your push to him to stay here and not go to all the other schools he could have gone to?
Yeah, Lance, phenomenal young man, phenomenal player. He's very caring, very appreciative. He loves people. He's very engaged in conversations. He listens well to everybody around him, and I think that's what makes him so good already as a freshman and a rising star already. Miss Veronica, his mother, love her dearly, and I knew of them prior of the recruitment, just from being in that area. They were living in Bastrop and now Monroe, and the messaging to Lance was the opportunity to stay home, but also make 318 known as well. There's a lot of talent in the 318 area, just like it is in 225 and 504 in New Orleans, right? But why not have that talent come here and be on this platform, right? And so for the Barkevius Mingos, the Andrew Whitworths, the Kyle Williams, Tre'Davious Whites, Devin White, I can go on and on. Keeping that tradition is so important, and so that's something I emphasize to all the prospects in North Louisiana and in the North in general, just to make sure we set that foundation. Because there was a time where a lot of people where I'm from were more willing to go out of state, whether that's to another SEC school or outside the conference. And if they have the opportunity to come here, let's do it.
And then just what are your goals to just hit a new level moving forward?
From what standpoint?
This year and beyond. Just like, as not only a recruiting team, but a team in general, like, what are some things, if you guys have identified any that you specifically, boxes you want to check, goals you have set?
Yeah,
like
yeah. You can never not talk about staying organized and being consistent in everything, right? And so we look back at numbers from last year. We keep track of who comes to games, how many times they come to a game, you know, who we official visit and what that number the rate looks like. We talk about communication. You know, we just had a meeting strategizing in communication from who talks to who and why and what's the messaging and the people around them, from the parents, the high school coaches, the recruits themselves, and everybody surrounding them. So our goal is to always get better. If we knew the formula for recruiting, we would probably not be in recruiting right now. We'll be working elsewhere, probably for the government. Honestly, I think you have to continue to learn and educate yourself every single day and improve, but you have to be willing to do so, and listening to feedback from everybody is important. We do a study with our incoming freshmen and ask them about different things. I've had them come and sit down in my office and ask them what they liked and didn't like during their recruitment or at other schools, so that way we can learn what they want in the sense of the best opportunity for them to understand the resources that they have provided for them, as well as being comfortable around people, right? And that goes back to the genuine piece. We have to make sure that we put them in position to understand that they have a platform here, but also they can be who they are here.
10-10, you got 20 minutes.
Okay.
Tell me about working with Brian Kelly, day-to-day, organization, to the point, right? Maximize time. Tell me about that, those day-to-day.
Yeah, I love working with, for Coach Kelly and with Coach Kelly, and I say with because that's the approach he gives. We're able to come up with very creative thoughts. Our staff in recruiting is phenomenal. You know, from on-campus experience to communication to identifying talent and personnel, he allows us and our coaches to really believe what we believe in and go attack and execute it. You know, when he first got here, he was asking me questions about Louisiana itself in general from a recruiting perspective, and I was very engaged and willing to listen to my thoughts when he didn't have to, right? And so the ability for him to allow us to do not just our jobs, but allow us to be creative every day, I think allows us to be successful, because by doing so, you give people that opportunity to learn from their mistakes, but also believe what they believe in, and when you see it work out well, then it definitely helps.
The graduate champions mantra has been immediate since like he got the job. Some people may say, "Oh, come on, he's here to win games, not to graduate people and whatnot." But talking to Will, says it's connected with parents, players. Not everyone's going to be Josh Williams, right? Not everyone's going to be 3.7, but they can earn their degree and they can be productive. Right.
Yeah. Graduate champions is a real thing, and it goes back to what I said earlier: traits over talent, right? And we can preach about graduating champions as much as we want to, but if we don't bring the right caliber people in, then it's going to be a lot harder for us to execute that plan and his vision for this program. And so, continue to make sure we truly and fully vet out people on a day-to-day basis, because and on the year-to-year as well, because things do change, and we have to be okay with adapting with that. And he has implemented from the day one, and still to this day, that's something that's crossed our messaging, not just in communication, but also when we still send mailers out and in general with our recruits.
And messaging. So obviously when you get a verbal commitment, you cannot say, "We just got John Smith" on Twitter, but you can say the path, and you can say the state of football and stuff like that, right? So those are kind of coordinated messages where you aren't specific, but people know what you're talking about.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
How's that done? Who kind of coordinates that? That's a big web of people, or
from that outreach perspective.
Like who sends the tweet?
Coach Kelly's tweet?
Yeah.
So yeah, every time we have a commit, we notify Coach, and he gets on Twitter and lets the world know this is what just happened after the prospect had his moment, and it's just a congratulations, a welcome to the family moment, and so we make a big push to celebrate people. Once again, in Louisiana, we're going to celebrate everything, and so we have a big party and we high five each other, and after that we continue to go back to our work and make sure we can find the next Tiger, as well as still communicating and loving up that verbal commit.
Just want to talk to you about a couple things, people on the team right now. So Emory and Will, like these two, joined at the hip, right? I mean, those kind of things make team chemistry great, right? And you saw it during the recruiting process, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were great friends and everything. Now they're these two baptized by fire on the offensive line, freshmen a year ago and all that. Oh,
yeah. It was something that we already kind of knew coming in, the relationship that they had. It's amazing to see the committed class always get together and be one. And I think that's very important. We get calls, I'm committing, but hey, can I stay with so-and-so, right? And, Emory and Will, they stay together now to this day, going on their second year. And it's awesome to see that relationship and rapport because whether it's the same position or a different position, they're always competing, but it's out of love and it's out of pushing each other to be the best they can be, to be successful for each other and with each other, not just here at LSU, but for years to come, whether that's in the NFL or as well in the day-to-day life in the community from a business perspective or whatever they feel like from a family perspective they want to do.
You say you get to know the family. I don't know how well you know Emory's mother.
Very well.
Very well. So his dad passed, he was 5 years old, and so I guess she's raised him, single mom, cooked for him and everything. Just what are your general impressions of her, getting to know her as a woman?
She is, she's a rock star. She is the heartbeat to Emory, and I think vice versa for each other. Emory's somebody, he'll go home when he needs to and surprise her and take care of her. She cheers him on day in and day out. During the recruitment process, the biggest things for her was understanding that the resources that were provided at an institution was going to help him succeed, not just on the field but off the field, and making sure that he can not just take care of himself but learn himself and grow as a young man. And she was able to give us the blessing to allow him to come to LSU. Same for Will and his family. Phenomenal people. They've pushed him very, very hard in great ways. And Will worked very hard for his offer. At one point, he came to camp and drove back home and then came back in the same timeline to earn a scholarship. And just the relationship that they have with us. I talked to Will's grandfather in my truck yesterday, actually on a phone call for about 30 minutes. And so it's just those simple things, just checking up on each other, and they help me recruit. They call me about prospects all the time and ask me to vet them out, and it's like a family. It's not even a working relationship.
So just to be clear, Will's grandfather? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we had switched over from Emory Will, just making sure we were talking about the same deal.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple, Brian Thomas and Chris Hilton. So we grew up on the Terrell Owens and the brash wide receiver, the talker. These two might catch more passes than words spoken this year. Huh? They don't talk at all, do they? But just tell me about those two local guys entering their third years and trying to have kind of breakout seasons.
Yeah, huge year for them, just like every other year. And I think that's the approach that they take. This year is no different than last year, right? And as they continue to develop and grow within themselves and within the program, they're going to continue to get better. But that's the plan, and that's the thought process of coaches' process is every day, every year you grow, and they've been doing that. And honestly, they have definitely been a lot more outgoing and engaged, and I love seeing them run around and catch the football, but also love each other up and be upstairs in the coaches' offices and having great relationships with our support staff and coaches, and they're going to do great things this year. I'm so excited to see them on Saturday nights.